While we're on the top of exhaust, let's try that again. While we are on the top of exhaust, why can't I talk? Hey everybody, so it's definitely been a minute since I've posted a video, but I want to take an opportunity to update you on some of the stuff that's going on with the Camaro. If you're looking for dyno numbers, they're not going to be in this episode, but I'm going to... These aren't really episodes. If you're looking for dyno numbers, they're not going to be in this... What the fuck do I call this? If you're looking for dyno numbers, they're not going to be in this video, not because I'm keeping them a secret, but we're going to talk about why I don't have them. So welcome back. As you can tell by my unfortunate hair and beard, we're still very much in a COVID quarantine. Hopefully everybody is out there staying safe, doing their part, wearing masks, staying 6 feet apart. If you take away autocrossing after I spent 16 years building this car, I'm gonna... The car previously went to the dyno. Things went okay. Got a bass tune in it, everything was lined up like it should. We started running into a problem where around 6,000 RPMs, the car would just go pig rich. And we couldn't figure out why. Looking at the logs, kind of guessing that we were running out of spark. Here's a quick video that you may have already seen of the car running on the dyno with this problem. So after troubleshooting a bunch of different stuff, the tuner and I decided that we were having an issue with probably the spark blowing out or something related to that. We had plenty of fuel, injector duty cycle was fine. It was really just nosing over like it was running out of spark. So in an attempt to fix the perceived spark problem that we were having, we decided that we're going to remove the MSD Pro billet distributor that was in there. I had it locked out. I did all the stuff you're supposed to do for EFI, but we decided to put a dual sync in there. And the difference is the dual sync is an EFI specific distributor. It uses a different way of detecting where the engine is, that the EFI likes better. In a nutshell, we were going to give it a shot and see how it went. So since it was still in the shop, I had him go ahead and install that for me. And after he got it installed, he went to go throw it back in the dyno, and suddenly we were having a problem where around, I think it was 3,000 RPMs, free rev on the dyno, whatever, the car would just go instantly lean to the point where he would just dump out of the throttle. But rather than sit around and pay him money to diagnose it, he has customer cars, and really, I can troubleshoot this stuff at home. I took the car back, went through it, and we actually found something. And one of the things I did was reach out to Holley, and they said, well, send me some logs. So I had logs from the tuner illustrating the problem that he was having, and I went ahead and ran some logs in the driveway, and I had the exact same problem. So I sent it off to Holley, and they looked at it. They cleaned up some things in the tune, but they said, we don't really see anything in here that indicates the problem you're having. I thought about it more and more, and I just thought it was really strange that the lean condition was always happening at the exact same RPM. And then it hit me. There's an MSD3K box under the dash. That MSD3K box has a rev limiter on it. When we were troubleshooting things on the dyno, when we first had this problem, one of the things we did is we set the limiter down to around 3,500, I think it was, to see if that was our problem. In the time that it took the distributor to come in, for him to install it, keep in mind, the tuner was doing this on the side. He was really kind of doing me some favors. Quite frankly, both he and I forgot that there was this limiter in place. So, lo and behold, I changed the limiter on the MSD box, and the car free revs, Goes over 3,000 RPMs, no lean condition, pretty easy problem solved. Now, that doesn't mean that the issue we were having originally, the whole reason we put this new distributor in, is fixed. But at least now we can set up another dyno session and go test. So while I was waiting on the dyno, I took the opportunity to fix a couple other things that I discovered that were wrong with the car. This includes some kind of bad info that I give some folks out there, so I want to show you exactly what's going on so you can avoid any of the same problems that I've had. And most of them relate to stuff that's happening under there. All right, so let's talk about a couple things. Number one, here's the brand new Holley EFI dual sync distributor. Installs just like a regular one, but it has all sorts of fancy computer brains in it. And there's our Holley Sniper Stealth EFI unit. Some of you may remember I made a video where we put a progressive throttle linkage on this Holley Sniper Stealth setup. Well, that's our first problem. It doesn't work on these, and let me show you what I'm talking about. The Sniper and the Sniper Stealth, which is what this unit is, they come from the factory with a linear or non-progressive throttle linkage. And what that means is, unlike a carburetor, when you hit the gas and the primary is open first and the secondary is open, on these units, when you hit the gas, all four butterflies open at the exact same time. Well, the problem is for a lot of people that makes the throttle touchy, and especially in this car. There's no flywheel, a super lightweight clutch, all that kind of stuff. It just makes it hard to drive. So I installed the progressive throttle linkage. Unfortunately, we learned that when you do that, while it does what you're expecting and it makes the primaries open first and the secondaries open later, the way the Stealth is set up, the injectors are wrong. I'm gonna cut in a video real fast and show you what I'm talking about. Instead of the primary injectors firing first, and then when these throttle blades open, the secondary is going, one side alone fires. Now that's only true of the Stealth, the unit that looks like a carburetor. If you have a regular Holley Sniper, the progressive linkage works great, but if you have a Stealth like I do, it does not work. So after I change the settings back in the ECU, you can see how all the injectors are working now. So how do I go about solving my issue of the touchy throttle? They sell a throttle linkage extension, which is this bar right here, and what that does is it gives you a little bit more leverage over the throttle. So now, because of the extension, I get more leverage, and my right foot inputs are softened compared to the inputs on the side of the EFI unit. So that's a lot of work to say that I did a couple little things and now I'm waiting to get back to the dyno. While I'm waiting, I figured I would just knock out some more stuff. One of the things we took care of is I pulled the exhaust off the car and I'd found some pinhole leaks from where I welded some stuff. And Larry from 20 Square Fab welded all that up, got that perfect. So now we don't have any exhaust leaks. It means my O2 sensors are going to read better, my muffler is going to be more effective, all that other stuff. So let's take a walk through some of the other little projects, the ones that I can show you, and you can see what I've been doing. So one of my concerns with this car is always being over the decibel limit. I've got really good mufflers on the car, but it's a loud car. The problem is when you're at an event, if you go over sound, you have to fix it or your runs are going to be disqualified. So one of the things I've been working on are these exhaust inserts. So these I've quickly bent up and welded on the backside, and I do not want to show you what those welds look like, but welded them up, and these go into the end of the exhaust. The idea here is I'm going to put some muffler packing material in this, cap off the backside, trim the edge so it's flush, and then if I'm ever having an issue at an event where I'm over sound, I can take these, secure them in. I'll probably have a pin or a screw. This will all get trimmed off, but that will kind of add a last minute muffler. It's not going to be the most efficient, but it's better than losing your runs. So I have one for each of these. Race cars are expensive, so in order to offset some of our running costs, I may have gotten a side job. Okay, Mike Snyder at AutoXGraphics.com thought my joke was funny enough that he went ahead and made those up for me. He likes bad jokes too, which is why he made these SCCA 2020 National Champion stickers. But to the actual work that I've done on the inside of this car, just did a couple things. I readjusted the angle of my driver's seat to get it exactly where I wanted it. I took the slider off of the passenger seat because it made the passenger seat way too high. They were getting too close to the roll bar. Wasn't a fan of that. And I went ahead and installed a rear view mirror from Joe's Racing up on the roll bar. Although my next addition to the car might make that rear view mirror a little bit moot. So this unfinished, untrimmed piece of aluminum has kind of been the biggest part of the work that I've been doing on the car. I've been trying to maximize the rear aero of this car to the letter of the rules, and so I took my old spoiler, which is hiding back there by the fan, removed it, and I've started to make this new spoiler. Now, it is not trimmed out yet. You can see I've got some lines mocked up that I'll need to figure out where everything lands. But what I've done versus the old spoiler is add these extensions on the ends, which will help me maximize the area that I'm allowed to have. I'm also working at setting it at a steeper angle than the last one was at without the big bend in it. So if you're wondering, it does still bolt to the back of the deck lid, and then the end plates are made out of two pieces. This end plate right here below this cut line will stay with the car. When I pull the deck lid off, this will stay. This portion is going to be riveted to the main spoiler, and that will all come off when I remove the deck lid. So that gets us pretty much current on the car. The one thing that I can't show you, but if you follow my build thread either over on Grassroots or NastyZ28.com, you'll notice that my buddy Jay Parsons is doing something really cool for me, and it relates to the roof of that car. This was originally a T-top car, and I don't have the provisions to put in the glass anymore, nor would I want to because it's heavy. But one of the complaints about having no T-tops is an aerodynamic penalty. Jay's doing a little bit of magic with a little bit of fiberglass and a little bit of carbon fiber, and I should have something really cool to show you soon. So that's kind of it for today. I'm going to keep knocking out some winter projects. Hopefully have an update for you soon with either the T-tops or maybe some dyno. But in the meantime, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll try to get some other Team Zip Tie members to make some content, because I don't know how many times you want to see this thing just parked in my garage. Anyway, catch you later. Thanks.